It started this morning, as soon as I woke up. As usual, my wife woke up before I did and was making breakfast, facing away from me. "Morning, babe. Whatcha making?" I said, after sitting down at the kitchen table. No answer. "Smells like eggs," my voice trailing off. We'd argued a bit the night before. The argument wasn't about anything big. Hell, I don't even remember what we said. But I'd figured I'd said something that pissed her off, and she was giving me the silent treatment. It wasn't her usual MO, but we really don't fight, so I thought this was her style when she gets especially mad. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked tentatively. "Look, I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean to upset you." Still no response. I stood up from the table and walked over to her slowly and lightly touched her right shoulder from behind. Without hesitation, she turned left and briskly walked out of the room towards the living room in the back of our house. "Hurt?" I called out to her. "Okay, I'll finish making the eggs." After eating alone, I went back into our room to get dressed, then shouted towards the living room, "I'm running late, so I'm going to head out. I love you." After waiting a full minute for an answer, I gave up and drove to work. Occasionally, I would look at a few of the other drivers. People watching has always been calming to me, and I definitely had a lot on my mind. But everyone I looked at seemed to be focused on their kids in the back, a bird flying on the other side of their car, or looking down at their phone. So I gave that up fairly quickly. I arrived late to work, but as I punched into the digital time clock, no one seemed to notice, so I hurried straight up the stairs to my desk. I work as a receptionist for a large pharmaceutical company, and we always have people coming in for drug trials, delivering packages, what have you. But today, nothing was scheduled and no one came by. At about 1 o'clock I noticed this, so I poked my head into my boss's office to ask if there was a mistake, but he had his back turned to the door and seemed to be intently listening on his phone. I could hear a muffled voice through the receiver, but couldn't make out any words. I went back to my desk and wrote a note out asking if anyone was supposed to be coming in today. Then I left it on his desk. 2 o'clock rolls around and still no word from anyone at all, but I decided that no news was good news on this front. I took my lunch break in the park across the street as normal, and the only people that seemed to be walking by were all coming from behind me and seemed to be looking away. It was around this point that I really knew something was wrong. I called my wife, no answer. I called my brother, no answer. Parents, cousins, friends, 911, no answer. Trying my best not to panic, I walked down the street away from my building, hoping to find just one person to talk to, but cars seemed to drive much too fast for me to see anyone. A few even ran red lights when I stopped on a corner. Finally, I saw a woman pushing a stroller past me across the street. I called out to her and sprinted over, just to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. She seemed to pick up speed the second I made for her side of the road, and she continued to increase her walking pace as I stayed on her tail, screaming my head off the whole way. We were both in a full-on sprint by the time I caught up with her. I grabbed the woman's arm tight and shouted as loudly as I could, "Hey, miss." I fell to the floor, my jaw certainly broken and bleeding where she'd punched me. Still seeing stars, I sat up to see her running. She had to be moving at least 30 miles an hour, and she was already 2 blocks down. I went straight back to my empty home and sat down on the couch. I tried the TV, the shower radio, and I even tried opening YouTube just to hear another voice, but of course, none of them worked. Right now, I'm sitting on my couch, clutching a baseball bat, waiting for my wife to come home from work. She will look at me, whether she's conscious or not,